Jagannath Swami Nayana Path Game Bhavatu Me
Nilachal Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmani Balabhadraspadrabhyam Jagannathaya. Hare Krishna. Today we are going to discuss a very nice story of King Purushottam Dev, who was a great devotee of Lord Jagannath. King Purushottam Dev was the king of Odisha, and he delighted in his very special seva of picking a broomstick on the Rath Yatra day to sweep the streets. In this way, the king accepted the humble position of a street sweeper. Once, when King Purushottam Dev went for a South India tour, he came to a place called as Kanchipuram. There he met a beautiful lady whose name was Padmavati, who happened to be a princess, the daughter of King of Kanchi. So the proposal went to King of Kanchi, who very happily accepted the proposal, as he had previously heard the glories of King Purushottam Dev. Purushottam Dev then returned back to Odisha. To make everything official, King of Kanchi sent his minister to King Purushottam Dev. And this minister was received very warmly in Odisha. As the time for Rath Yatra was approaching, King Purushottam Dev requested the minister to stay back a few more days to witness the celebrations of the Rath Yatra festival. On the Rath Yatra festival, the minister witnessed the grandeur of all the happenings. He saw how the huge deity of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and Sudarshan, they were brought onto the chariots, which in themselves is so huge. And thousands of pilgrims had gathered in this area of Jagannath Puri. And tumultuous sounds of mridangas and kartas and conch shells. Amidst all of this, the minister witnessed something very shocking. He saw that the king Purushottam Dev, who happened to be the future husband of the daughter of King of Kanchi, came with a broomstick in his hand. King Purushottam Dev used that broomstick to sweep the streets. And this created utmost confusion in the mind of the minister. The minister immediately left the place and headed back to Kanchipuram. In Kanchipuram, he informed the king of Kanchi what he had witnessed, that the king of Puri, the king of Odisha, King Purushottam Dev, was accepting his lowly position as a street sweeper. And this was the person who was to be the husband of Padmavati, the princess of Kanchi. The king of Kanchi immediately had wanted to cancel this proposal, as he felt that to accept the position of a street sweeper was very low class. He could not understand that service to the Supreme Lord is glorious. Doesn't matter what kind of service. Whether you are worshipping the deity on top of the cart or you are sweeping the street below the cart, before the cart, they hold equal value in the eyes of Lord Jagannath. Not being able to understand the spiritual aspect of the service, King of Kanchi foolishly rejected this marriage proposal. Hearing this, King Purushottam Dev got offended and he wanted to take revenge. So the king decided to attack Kanchipuram. He rushed to attack Kanchipuram. The king of Kanchi made one condition before entering the battle. He told King Purushottam Dev that I am a worshipper of Lord Ganesh. In case I happen to win the war, then you should submit your deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra of Jagannath Puri to me, who will then be placed in a temple behind Lord Ganesh in Kanchipuram. And if I happen to lose the battle, then I will submit my deity of Lord Ganesh to you, who will be placed in a temple behind the temple of Jagannath Baladev. The battle ensued. Both the armies went head on and there was lot of bloodshed. But throughout this battle, King of Kanchi had upper hand, and there was fire set to the camp of Purushottam Dev, because of which he had to retract from the battlefield. King Purushottam Dev, almost being defeated, he could not understand. He was on the side of Lord Jagannath, fighting the battle for Jagannath. But why was he losing? Immediately, he went to the deity of Lord Jagannath and cried, "Oh my dear Lord Jagannath, isn't my loss your loss? How can I see the Lord of the universe to be placed behind the deity of Lord Ganesh? I'm only fighting on your behalf. So please be merciful." And as he slept that night, Lord Jagannath appeared in his dream. And Lord Jagannath told him, "Yes, you happened to lose the battle because you never took shelter of me. You never took my blessings before you entered the battle. And therefore you were about to lose. But now that you're completely depending on me, you don't have to fear anymore. I will personally come and fight the battle for you." So the next day, King Purushottam Dev and his army left the city. But even before his army reached Kanchipuram, there were two soldiers, one on a black horse and other on a white horse. They proceeded ahead of the army to Kanchipuram. On the way, these two soldiers saw a coward lady who was carrying buttermilk. And they were very hungry. So they asked the lady for buttermilk and drank all the buttermilk to heart's content. The lady asked for money. They said, "We are soldiers, we have no money. We are on the way to battle." So the coward lady, who depended completely on the money made from selling the buttermilk, began to cry. She said, "All this money goes to earning livelihood, to maintain my family. If you don't give me money and you finish all my buttermilk, what can I do? How will I manage my family?" So the soldier sitting on the black horse immediately gave his ring, gave it to the lady, and said, "The king of Odisha is on his way. Give this ring to him, he will reimburse you the entire cost of the buttermilk." Hesitatingly, the coward lady, whose name was Manika, she accepted, and the two soldiers went ahead. So as King Purushottam Dev and his army arrived, Manika gave the ring to the king and told that two of his soldiers came and drank all of my buttermilk. The king was confused because the army was right behind him. So King Purushottam Dev received the ring, and he saw this ring is no ordinary ring. This ring is the diamond ring of Lord Jagannath. And therefore he was fully assured that Krishna and Balram, as promised in the previous night's dream, had appeared and had already taken charge of the battle. So the king very happily reimbursed the cost of the buttermilk. And not just that, he gave her so many villages to take care of, so that her whole life she can manage just by the taxes of the villages. King also formed a village on the spot called as Manikapatna in her remembrance, because the king felt that this Manika is so fortunate because she happened to directly deal with these two lords, Krishna and Balram. The king of Kanchi saw two powerful soldiers on two horses, one black and one white, fighting valiantly, and they destroyed the entire army of the king of Kanchi. At that time, as King Purushottam Dev and his army arrived, they saw the battle was already fought. So as a revenge, instead of capturing the king of Kanchi, King Purushottam Dev went ahead and arrested his daughter, Padmavati. King Purushottam Dev remembered the insult of King of Kanchi towards Lord Jagannath. He had felt inappropriate to have his daughter be married to a king who sweeps streets for the Supreme Lord. Sort of revenge, King Purushottam Dev wanted to have his daughter be married to a street sweeper. Padmavati, hearing this, was completely heartbroken. King Purushottam Dev So called for the minister and told his minister, go and find out a suitable street sweeper to marry this Padmavati. That will teach King of Kanchi a very good lesson. The minister was very intelligent. He knew Padmavati was very noble-hearted and herself devotee of the Supreme Lord. And he understood that there is no one better match for her than the king himself. And hearing these words from the king, he went into a deep thought. He told the king to kindly give him some time to find a suitable match for the daughter of King of Kanchi. In the meantime, as the Rath Yatra approached, King Purushottam Dev, amidst all the grand celebrations happening, thousands and thousands of pilgrims gathering and celebrating this festival, the tumultuous sounds of mridangas and kartals and conch shells being blown, the king humbly took the position of a street sweeper yet again, began to sweep the streets before the carts of the Supreme Lordships. At that time, the clever minister brought the Princess Padmavati before King Purushottam Dev, and he said, my dear king, I have found the best street sweeper to be married to Padmavati. The king said, okay, you deal with it. I don't have time for all of this. The minister said, but my dear king, the best street sweeper who is a suitable match for this young princess, Padmavati, is none other than you. The king was completely taken aback. He said, what do you mean? The minister explained, my dear king, you accept the position of a street sweeper every Rath Yatra. So therefore, as per your instructions, I feel the most suitable street sweeper to be married to Padmavati is none other than yourself, O king. And King Purushottam Dev very happily accepted the marriage proposal, and King Purushottam Dev accepted the hands of Padmavati. So according to the condition set by the King of Kanchi, the deity of Ganesh was brought to Puri, and a separate temple was made for Ganesh behind the temple of Lord Jagannath. So what do we learn from this pastime of King Purushottam Dev? Lesson number 1 would be to understand that no service to Krishna is considered unimportant. When you come to a temple, you find different kinds of services. Some devotees give lectures. Some devotees worship the deities. Some devotees clean the temple hall. Some devotees cook for the deities. Some devotees clean the pots. Some devotees clean the bathrooms in the temple. All the services are of same status in the eyes of the Supreme Lord. There is no higher or lower service. Lesson 2 would be that Supreme Lord is pleased when his devotees take up menial services. Generally, it is said, for a man who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death. There's so many people standing in line for such services. But the menial services which go unrecognized, where there is no chance for name and fame and glory, when we accept those services, the Supreme Lord is very much pleased. Because such services foster pure devotion to the Supreme Lord. There is no contamination of name, fame, prestige. And the devotee gives up his false identity of being someone very important in the material world in front of service to the Supreme Lord. And lesson number 3, we should never forget to seek the blessings of the Supreme Lord in any endeavor we are putting forth. King Purushottam Dev wanted to fight the battle against King of Kanchi for pleasure of Jagannath. But while rushing for it, he forgot to seek the blessings, and because of which he almost lost the battle. So similarly, we might say we are doing it for Krishna, we are doing it for the devotees, but we should never forget to seek the blessings of Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. Seek the blessings of the Supreme Lord, seek the blessings of Guru, and seek the blessings of Vaishnavas. And by doing so, there is real success.